getting pretty close to hunting season, so I'm going to make sure that my rifle is sighted in, accurate, on target. Also, I bought some new bullets during the great ammo panic of 2013, and I want to see if my gun shoots those fairly consistently. If so, I'm going to use those this year hunting before I start doing my own reloads. So let me show you guys what I'm shooting, the ammo, what I was shooting, and we'll go from there. So I was shooting these Barnes Vortex 169 grain Winchester 300 short mag. I've hunted with those for several years, had really good luck with them. My rifle likes this round, it shoots tight groups. I prefer to shoot something heavier like a 180, but my rifles always like these so much that I've standardized with them. But I have these that I'm going to try, and if I can shoot a, I don't know, a 1 MOA group or something close to that, I think I'm going to use these this year. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of sighting in. I'm shooting a Tikka 300 Winchester short mag. That's a Burris Veracity scope 4-20. I did take the gun apart and paint it, so I also want to make sure that not only is it good with these rounds, but that it's all accurate again. I've marked the scope, I don't know if you can see that, with some pencil marks. That way, if this scope moves in the mount, I can tell, since this rifle has quite a bit of recoil. You can see them up there, marks from a previous mount, and you can see those marks. So as I shoot, I'm going to keep an eye on all those and make sure that the scope is not moving in the mounts. Also, if I'm out hunting and I fall, which I've been known to do, I can check my scope and make sure that everything is still in there the way it was, and that something didn't get knocked off kilter. So something I want to point out, and I tried to get a shot of it, but I can't. Right now, without me touching the gun, sitting on this lead sled, if you look down that scope, it is right on the bullseye with me not touching the rifle. So I don't have to do any manipulation, torquing, squeezing to make sure that thing's on target. You're going to be more accurate if you can just lay yourself up behind the rifle so it's on target right now. All right, I want to show you guys something. The first 2 rounds I shot out of that rifle were consistent, high, and a little bit right. In the interest of shooting rounds that are over $2 a piece, I only fired 2 rounds. Now what's important now is consistency, not how close I am to the bullseye. It's important that those rounds are close together, which they are. So now I can adjust the scope to get it down on the bullseye. So I got ready to adjust this thing and remembered that this Burris scope has these 0 stop turrets, which allow you to dial it back to 0. It'll stop there. So I had to take an Allen wrench and loosen this thing up and give me a little bit of more downward adjustment. So I'm going to click this thing, like 4 clicks down. It's 1/4 MOA adjustments. This is the point of impact, so that says up. I'm going to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 1/4 MOA, so I'm going to go ahead and go 5 clicks. Let's start there. So I ended up coming down 12 clicks total. Now I'm right, so I'm going to adjust my right turret knob left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clicks. All right, let me shoot a couple rounds and see where we're at. So I just want to show you the progression of shots as I adjusted the scope. So here was my first 2, just to make sure it was consistent. I was happy with that. I adjusted it down a bit and then realized I didn't adjust it far enough. Came down some more, and like I putt in golf, I came back down too much. So I moved it back up, and I went ahead and moved it left. So, and I threw this shot, and then that was my last shot. So now I'm gonna go see how consistent of a 3-shot group I can shoot. That will be the deciding factor of whether I can use this ammo or not. Okay, so I ended up firing 5 rounds instead of 3, but that's my 5-shot group. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and use this ammo for elk season. The wind did pick up, so I'm going to cover these up and I'm going to click it up, maybe 2 clicks, 1 click, and call it good. You can see the wind has picked up a bit. So I am pleased with the way those rounds shot. The group was, I don't know, 1.5 MOA. I'm going to go ahead and use them. They were too expensive to just let sit around. So I'm going to go ahead and hunt elk with these nozzlers and probably go back to the Barnes Vortex for deer. My gun is a little more consistent and a little more accurate with those 169 grain Barnes than with these Nozzler 180 grains, but I'm happy with the way they shot. I'm happy with the consistency. So I am going to re-zero all of the scope turrets and make sure everything's back to 0. I double checked my marks to make sure that it didn't move in the mounts. So I'm going to batten all that up, make sure we're good to go. I should be ready for hunting season. So I re-zeroed my turrets. Hopefully you can see that under this camo netting. The windage is re-zeroed. The elevation is re-zeroed. That way I can make adjustments out in the field and go right back to 0 if needed. Although I'm going to hunt with these caps on and use the ticks in the scope for my adjustments. But I am going to go ahead and fire 2 more rounds just to make sure that when I re-zeroed that, I didn't move anything. I'm also firing rounds out of both boxes of my hunting ammo. I want to make sure that it's consistent. So I fired a bunch out of this one, and I fired a few out of the other box. I've known ammo to be inconsistent from box to box, even round to round. So I'm going to go ahead and fire some out of both boxes now and make sure that I'm happy with my group. So these are the final shots on the target. I did have one flyer up here. I'm going to blame that on inconsistency in the ammo. God knows it can't be my shooting. Insert sarcasm. But I'm happy with this group. I did click it up. One more click. But these rounds are pretty consistent. 180 grain nozzlers. I am going to go ahead and go